Good day, sir. I'm Deanril si Taroc. My partner Liz Sumalpong, and I'm reporting now gender and school. Gender and school. Gender is a social construct that impacts attitude, roles, responsibilities, and behavior patterns of boys and girls, men and women in all societies. It includes the expectations held about the characteristics, aptitudes, and likely behaviors of both women and men. Gender perspective looks at the impact of gender on people's opportunities, social roles, and interactions. Schools is the place where our children should be exploring ideas and discovering new skills. It is inexcusable that any child might be prevented from pursuing their passions simply based on their perceptions on their gender. Schools have a tremendous opportunity and responsibility to the inclusive of all students regardless of their gender, identity, and expression. Gender differences. Gender differences are variances between male and females that are based on biological adaptations that are the same for both sexes. For example, teachers tend to praise girls for good behavior regardless for its relevance to content or to the lesson at hand and tend to criticize boys for bad and inappropriate behavior. School as a gender socialization. Gender socialization is the process by which we learn our culture, gender-related roles, norms, and expectations. Through gender socialization, children begin to develop their own beliefs about gender and ultimately form their own gender identity. Schools can magnify or diminish children differences by providing environments that promote within gender similarity and between gender differences, or the inverse, within gender variability and between group similarity. Schools are major context for gender socialization, in part because children spend large amounts of time engaged with perv in such settings. Schools are important context for the socialization of young children's gender attitudes and behaviors. Teachers and school administrators model gender roles and sometimes demonstrate gender stereotypes by responding to male and female students in different ways.
Gender equality. Gender equality is when people of all genders have equal rights, responsibilities, and opportunities. Everyone is affected by gender inequality. Women, men, trans, and gender deserve people, children, and families. It's, it impacts people of all ages and backgrounds. We need gender equality urgently. Gender equality prevents violence against women and girls. It's essential for economic prosperity. Societies that value women and men as equal are safer and healthier. Gender equality is human right. Role of schools in reinforcing gender equality. The gender inequalities pervading society are carried into the environment. This is evidence in school processes such as teaching, teacher-students, interaction, schools management, and the plan and against of the physical interaction. Teaching and learning materials, for example, may contain gender stereotypes. School management system may not be sufficiently addresses gender constraints such as sexual harassment, and many schools do not have adequate or separate toilets from girls and boys.
Issues related to gender in school. The socialization of gender within our schools assures that girls are made aware that they are unequal to boys. It includes distance to school, cultural norms, and practices, school-related and gender-based violence. Boys and girls face barriers to getting a good education in conflict-affected areas where safety and security can be compromised, and in households that depend on their labor or income. Gender bias come in as one of the issues related to school. Gender bias. Gender bias is a preference or prejudice toward one gender over the other. Bias can be conscious or unconscious and may manifest in many ways, both subtle and obvious. It occurs when people make assumptions regarding behaviors, abilities, or preferences of others based on their gender because there are strong gender role stereotypes for masculinity and femininity. Students who do not match them can encounter problems with teachers and with their peers. Teachers tend to pay more attention to boys than girls by having more interactions with them because boys are more aggressive than girls. Boys simply tend to demand more attention while girls tend to be quieter and more reticent. Boys tend to dominate classroom discussion, and they also access computers and technology more often than girls do. They tolerate behavior in boys that they do not tolerate in girls, and they tend to provide boys with more criticism and precise. Gender inequities. Gender inequities pervading society are carried into the school environment. This is evidenced in school processes such as teaching, teacher-student interaction, school management, and the plan and design of the physical infrastructure. Teaching and learning materials, for example, may contain gender stereotypes.